Agent Kevin back with you. The Chiefs touchdowning back home as kings. Super Bowl champs for the first time in 5 decades for a storied franchise after another double-digit comeback this season for Andy Reid and company. Patrick Mahomes down 20-10 in the fourth quarter, scoring the final 21 points. The 24-year-old closing out his season 5-0 when trailing by double digits, including all 3 wins in the playoffs. Let's start here. Divisional round at home against the Texans. They were down 24 points in the first half. At home, they scored 41 unanswered. And they go on the win, 51-31. Mahomes, 321 in the air, 5 touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns in the second quarter alone. They advance to the AFC Championship game. Then, the following week, they've got the Titans coming into town and all the talk of Derrick Henry. And what happens? The Chiefs, they were down by 10, 17-7. And then they unleashed 28 unanswered en route to a 35-24 victory. Mahomes on the run, that little stutter step. Are you kidding me? And no one tackling him. What is going on? Touchdown right there, 294 in the air, 4 total touchdowns there, going to the Super Bowl. And here we go. Last night, Super Bowl 54 against the Niners. They were down by 10 with under 10 minutes to go. They outscored the Niners 21-0, and they win 31-20. Mahomes, 286 in the air, 3 total touchdowns. Damian Williams, 133 on the ground, as well as catching the ball. 2 total touchdowns for him, and they win in historic fashion. Andy Reid, orange splash, storybook ending for the 24-year-old Mahomes.
And take a look at this. Back in 2013, this is what Patrick Mahomes tweeted. I bet it feels amazing to be the quarterback who says, I'm going to Disney World after winning the Super Bowl. And how about that? 7 years later, almost to the day, Patrick Mahomes joins us live from Disney World as the MVP of Super Bowl 54. Patrick, wow, who knew, right? A couple years later. I assume you've been to Disney World before. How's it going?
It's surreal. It really is. It's an awesome feeling. I couldn't even imagine this whenever I sent that tweet out. And so be able to be a Super Bowl champion at Disney World, it's one of the best feelings of my entire life.
7 years ago, so you were like 17 years old, just a kid. First question, how much sleep did you get last night? Any?
I got a little power nap in. I'll just say that. I had a celebrated with the guys, and then had an early press conference, and now I'm at Disney World. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it.
You probably know the numbers better than any of us, but you've had 5 double-digit comebacks just this season, Patrick. How do you just flip that switch and get it done?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to the teammates and the guys I have around me. They never give up. They fight until the very end of when it says 0-0-0 on the clock, and we just compete. And I think Coach Reid instills that in us in the beginning of training camp and OTAs, and we have that mindset going throughout the whole season.
But last night was different because none of those 4 previous double-digit comebacks came as late in the game as it did last night. And, of course, that's the Super Bowl. Your entire offense struggled, but specifically for you, Patrick, why do you think you struggled so much those first 3+ quarters?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I wasn't playing to the best of my ability and doing the things that I usually do, but at the same time, that is a great defense. So one of the best defenses that I've faced in my entire career. And so those guys were making plays and then the whole game, and then we just found a way to make some at the end and get the win.
Yeah, I think everybody agrees the turning point was down 20-10 midway through the fourth quarter. It's that 3rd and 15, and you launched the ball to Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid, Patrick, said that you call it WASP, 2-3 jet ship WASP. I mean, literally, he said you put the stinger on him. But I hear you called that play, Patrick. Is that true, and why? Why then?
Well, whenever they were reviewing the catch before that ended up being an incompletion, I told Coach Reid we needed to. I asked him. I said, let's go to this play. We had ran one that's very similar in the first half, and they had covered it well. But how they covered it, we had this one that kind of went off of it, and it got Tyreek one-on-one with the safety. And so we went with it. We called the play. The offensive line blocked a long time, and gave me enough time to get the ball out there and Tyreek to make the play.
And when he made that play on the other end, what went through your mind?
Yeah, once we got that completion, I knew we were going to get rolling, and we got into that 2-minute mode, got down there, got a first touchdown, and then got the ball back with the defense with 3 and out, and went down there and scored again.
All right, last thing. One of the things people love about you, Patrick, is your easy-go-lucky attitude. You always seem happy, and you're so humble. Now you're at the top of the world. So when you think back on Patrick Mahomes, the little kid with the dream, sending that tweet about Disney World, what goes through your mind today?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It honestly is. To think back when I was in high school playing quarterback, first year starting to now, it's been a lot of growth, and I'm just glad I got to do it here with all the guys I have around me.
Well, congratulations again, Super Bowl 54 MVP. Patrick Mahomes, thank you for joining us, and enjoy yourself in Disney World. You can sleep later, right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Sportsbook lists Kansas City as the favorite to repeat. Now, second, Baltimore, which led all teams this year, of course, with 14 regular season wins. And after Baltimore, you got San Francisco there, and then New Orleans and New England. But both of those teams still have to figure out their starting quarterback situation. By the way, Super Bowl 55, February 7th, 2021 in Tampa, Florida.
What's more surprising right now, the Heat? They would have home court in the first round of the playoffs, so the Sixers would not, as those
stand there. So 3rd and 5 at their 25. Garoppolo, he is hit hard there. Niners first 3 and out of this game. Listen to Shanahan.
The last thing you're thinking about when you're up 3 points and there's that much time left. I mean, clock's not an issue at that time, especially with the timeouts teams have. The issue is moving the chains. If you do move the chains, then you will wind the clock.
Questions surrounding Shanahan's play call. The play calling here for the Chiefs, fantastic. 3:44 left, 2nd and 7. Mahomes to Sammy Watkins, working Richard Sherman.
This is beautiful in every way. It's an awesome release. Inside release, stack the defensive back, and that makes it an easier throw for the quarterback. Big-time route, big-time throw. In that
Sherman tweeting out last night he wasn't good enough last night. A few plays later now, Williams. How about this? Able to reach for the pylon. The play reviewed. You see the Jordan kicks out of bounds, but they call it on the field a touchdown.
And I don't think there was enough to overturn it, so I think sticking with it, having the call stand, the right decision.
Kansas City up 24-20 now. Garoppolo now the chance to lead his team. How about this? 31 years ago, Joe Montana led the Niners on a 92-yard drive on the same field. 3rd and 10, 140 left. He has Emmanuel Sanders on 3rd down. He won the foot race.
You can't do it. You can't miss in that situation. Game-altering play. Even if you underthrow it, allow him to come back through some contact and get PI. It can't be a long foul ball.
All right, time to close it down. Williams in the huddle told his players, block for me, I'll do the rest, I'm going to score. Once cut by the Dolphins, he returns 104 yards rushing, and that sealed the deal. The orange Gatorade splashing all over Andy Reid. Stunned, the Niners up by 10 with under 10 minutes to go. They lose 31-20. And Mahomes, the Super Bowl MVP, 286 in the air, 3 total touchdowns. A closer look at that 10-minute, 45-second stretch that decided the game in the 4th quarter. The Niners were outscored 21-0 during that span, and only 4 of the 15 plays that he ran were design runs. And after 14 years in Philly and 7 in KC, Andy Reid finally getting his Super Bowl win this morning. His famous sense of humor still intact as he was asked about his celebration.
Can you kind of give us a recap of what your night was like after the confetti fell? And did you spend time with the trophy? Did you sleep at all last night? And,
Yeah, I didn't really sleep last night, but I didn't spend it with the trophy. Well, I did. I spent it with my trophy wife. How's that?
That's so good, by the way.
Gentlemen.
Well
Take
done.
Notes. Take notes.
He calls Tammy his girlfriend, and that's a good way to go.
His
Well
bride.
done.
I love it. Let's go deeper on both quarterbacks, starting with, I think, rightfully so, the MVP. Mahomes, I mean, he is racking up these accolades, Tim, and just 24 years old, so much football ahead of him still. What's your biggest takeaway from him now, after last night? Does it change?
No, it doesn't change. I think what he did was really hard. It's hard to struggle in a football game and then turn it around and play great at the very end. I think the thing that sticks out to me in terms of what this guy can do and can possibly achieve at the position is we all see how talented he is throwing the football. He's been a better runner than I thought that he would be after watching him play in college. But when Andy Reid talks about him, he talks about his aptitude. He talks about kind of his understanding of the offense and how much he's been able to absorb, how he's been able to make good decisions. When you have that type of talent and you combine that with his ability to learn what Andy Reid has been trying to teach him, it's really incredible what he's achieved at such a young age.
Yeah.
The guy's been an MVP, now a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP, and I think he can only get better.
You know, it's always about the quarterback, so we're going to continue this discussion about the quarterbacks because after the game, Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark had this to say about Jimmy Garoppolo on the other side. We knew to challenge their checkdowns, You're paying the guy 140, 130 million, whatever he's getting paid. Man, you got to throw the ball. Obviously, he didn't do that. They threw for about 200 yards on checkdowns. That ain't enough to win the game against us. 3 of 11 in the fourth quarter. That was Jimmy G's numbers. After watching Garoppolo last night, what was your takeaway from his performance?
I'll tell you this. I would disagree with Frank Clark in the sense that he was 18 of 21 at one point. He was playing extremely well. He kind of fell apart a bit in the fourth quarter, and he had a couple of missed throws that I think are going to haunt him. And the hard part for him is that he's going to replay the Emmanuel Sanders miss over and over in his head. And when that happens, and you have all off season to watch that and think about that and hear people talk about it and hear people talk about how you're not good enough to win the big game or carry the football team, that's hard for a quarterback. I don't care who you are. Guys hear it. They pay attention to it. And so the challenge ends up being, are you mentally tough enough to have that not affect how you play?
I think we're mentally tough enough to have Tim come back later on the show.
Maybe.
He's going to discuss other quarterbacks and the future of Tom Brady and Dak Prescott.
Still to come, much more on the newly crowned Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes joins the show. He tells us why he called the play that turned the game